This is the 2020 Chevy Bolt. It's been out for a few years, and this is the first update it's really received since it was introduced. Apparently, there's going to be an even bigger model change for 2021, but this vehicle gets more range now, making it right near the top of its class, and it offers a lot of value, especially if you get the base model. I'm going to walk you through that as we go through it. Well, one thing is, it comes with standard alloy wheels, 17 inches. The one you see here gets you the two-tone 17-inch alloy wheels. Also, the upgraded system gets you LED daytime running lights and tail lamps. However, the headlamps are not LEDs. What do you think of this color, Oasis Blue? I think it's kind of fun. If you're going to have an electric car, why not have a fun color? And this one certainly is getting a lot of attention. I mean a lot of attention in this color. The outside of it remains the same. Let's jump inside, go for a drive. I'll tell you about the increased range, the competition, and why this vehicle as a base model is a compelling choice if you're buying an electric car. This video is brought to you by Car Cost Canada. Get the dealer's cost, list of rebates, plus discounted interest rates. Use the promo code MOTORMOUTH to become an expert member and get extra searches. The link is in the description below. Now, one of the problems with reviewing electric cars is it kind of turns into a spreadsheet calculation of who offers what, the range, all of the different calculations that go into making an electric car. Well, I've distilled the list down, and I've got a lot of things that I want to talk about. And I'm going to focus on the hatchback electric competitors, okay? Model 3 is definitely the best seller, but it's a much more expensive proposition. So what I'm doing is I'm comparing this to other hatchback electric cars. So think of the Hyundai Ioniq, the Hyundai Kona electric, the Kia Soul electric, and also the Kia Niro. These are all hatchback electric cars, not including the e-Golf, because e-Golf is discontinued and it doesn't have anywhere near the range of this car. So let's jump right in. We'll start with range. And one of the reasons why I think this car is very worth your consideration if you're looking at an electric car is for 2020, they upped the range by 34 kilometers. Now this car has 417 kilometers of range, which is class leading. It just beats out the Hyundai Kona electric. That car has 415 kilometers of range. But here's the good news. We're seeing more and more range added to these cars. What we're not seeing is the price tumbling down along with the increased capacity and features you get in electric cars. So the big roadblocks to buying an electric car, range. Well, this car certainly has more than enough range with 417 kilometers to have most people drive throughout the week and maybe only charge it a few times. And the big roadblock is price, and we're going to get into that as we go through this. Now, one of the things that General Motors did right with the first Bolts, and I was actually able to exceed the posted numbers for that car when I review it when it first came out, is because they have this Regen Paddle behind the steering wheel. So it's kind of like 1 foot driving, 1 foot, one hand. So you use your right foot for the throttle, but when you're coming up behind cars or you're coasting, you can just pull this lever back and it accelerates the regenerative braking. And it's an interesting thing to get used to. And if you are somebody that uses the onboard calculations, the computer, and has an eye towards using regen as much as possible, you can really stretch out the amount of mileage you get in a car like this. So Chevrolet gives you a pretty nice package because it includes something as basic for the Canadian market as heated front seats. And what I find interesting is their base price is the same as everybody else's, right around $45,000, but you get the heated seats. A lot of other brands are kind of cheeky with their pricing, so they offer that less expensive model at the same price, but if you want to get something as basic as heated front seats, you have to go to their top trim. The Kia Niro electric is $53,000 in order to get electric seats. There's a total disconnect there. But there's something that Chevrolet has done, which I'm not totally down with either. So forward collision warning with autonomous braking, we're seeing that as standard equipment on cars as inexpensive as a Toyota Corolla, where this car, starting near $50,000, you have to pay extra to get those safety features. $795, they call it the driver confidence package. That's just one package. There's another one that adds even more features like blind spot and cross traffic alert. That should be included in this car at this price point. And other brands certainly offer that as standard equipment. So that's why I said to you, electric cars are kind of a study in spreadsheets. You get something here, you take something away there, you get more range here, it costs this, you know, and it's really a major calculation to look at what you actually get. Now, there is one car that does offer a lot of standard equipment and is roughly the same price. That is the Nissan Leaf, but it doesn't have the same range as this. That's the Leaf Plus, by the way. It has 363 kilometers of range, which is a big improvement over the last model, but not the 417 you get with this car. And one of the things about all electric cars is they are, you know, nice to drive. And another reason why they're kind of hard to review is because they all have the same basic attributes. They're quiet, it's quiet. They're smooth, instant torque, low center of gravity with the battery below you. The Bolt has all of that, but so do all the other ones. The one thing I will give General Motors credit for, and it shows with this car, is suspension calibration. They do an excellent job with a lot of their cars for finding that right balance of comfort, road feel, steering feel. So, you know, this is an electric power steering. That's common, of course, in all new cars. But the actual suspension itself, with a big heavy battery in here, takes the bumps well, doesn't feel mushy, actually handles quite well. So I would rate the suspension and the way this drives slightly above the others. It's that sort of analog versus digital. You know, internal combustion engine is like analog, electric car is like digital. Instant torque and very satisfying. Okay, I'm gonna pull over and talk about the inside and why I think that the base model might be the one to get in this, and it can certainly save you quite a bit of money. So this car, the base model is $45,000. The top Premier trim that I'm in here today is $5,000 more. And for your money, you get some added content. You get the Bose stereo, you get an extra USB charging, you get leather seats, you get the heated rear seats, you also get a center armrest and a wireless charging station. Now, one other thing you get is embedded in the screen, and they call it the HD surround. So when you put the car into reverse, you see, you know, beautiful HD image, very bright and clear. Nissan, take notice. So that is great because the screen is large at over 10 inches. But if you get this Premier model, you get additional views. You can see around the car. You can zoom in. You can do all those sorts of things. Is that really worth the extra money? I'm not quite sure. I don't think it's worth the extra money. So leather seats, is that a big deal? It comes standard with heated seats. I'd be quite happy to have just the regular seats. But, you know, we had the Kia Niro on recently, and Andrea, my wife, and I did the review together, and I thought I'd bring her back. So let's do that now. And just like that, here's Andrea. Welcome.
No, how fast did I get here?
You drove yesterday doing all the drive-bys for me.
I did.
And you spent time in it. So what's your takeaway?
This is my take on it all. They've done a really good job with a lot of the details. You know, you look at the seats, they're two-tone, there's some stitching, but there is plastic and quite a bit of it. But I got to tell you, because they have done a really nice pattern on it.
Textured, right?
It's really hard to tell unless you touch it. So I think I'm impressed. I think it's pretty good.
Now look at this screen. So these screens, by the way, the ones you're looking at, the one in behind the steering wheel and the one in the center console, are standard on all of them. Yeah. Which is what people really are look for in vehicles, or the the connectivity in the screens.
For sure.
So this, even on the base model, where you get some of those Kia products and Hyundai products, you have to go to the more expensive one to get their bigger screen. This comes standard.
That's really good. See, there's some good value there. I still have a hard time wrapping my head around getting an electric car for $50,000, you know, especially one of this size. But that's what they cost.
The thing is that I would say this is, you know, it's direct competitors being all the ones I've mentioned already. But when you look at this on the interior volume, they've done a very good job. Like big open flat floor in the front there. You could put storage in the front. In the back, perfectly flat floor. And
bench seat.
A bench seat with theater seating. You sit up a little bit higher. And when you get in the back, It's really quite nicely done. They've got the armrest in the back. The cargo area is big. So even though, yes, this is just a 4-door hatchback car, it's a bit bigger. Like I would say, you know, what would you compare it against? The Volkswagen Golf? It's a bit bigger than a Volkswagen Golf.
Yeah, we talked about that the other day. And even when you look at the back seat, and you know, it's kind of a white gray color, and you've got that red stitching. Those kinds of details make a difference in a car.
Here's the thing. The way this looks, would you be okay driving with this interior?
Sure I would. As long as I don't.
I think it looks, I'm with you though. I like this sort of textured plastic.
I think they've done a really nice job with that. Look at this on the side. It's very airy in here. The windows feel big. It feels like there's a lot of space. I agree with you. A very nice job on the interior. And I always think to myself, ugh, I don't really love the plastic, but I feel differently about it today being in this Bolt.
A lot of criticisms about the initial Bolt with uncomfortable seats. And they have made incremental changes over the years. Did you notice them being uncomfortable at all?
These ones being uncomfortable? I think they're fairly comfortable.
Okay, good. Well, that's a good answer.
Aye.
Because there was a lot of criticisms initially about them being under padded.
Really?
Yeah, and they've made minor adjustments to them through the years, and I think now they're okay.
I think they feel
You can
pretty
still
good.
feel on the side here, this hard bit here,
yeah.
if you actually touch it.
Right.
But you're not really touching that all the time.
You know what? I've been in some higher end vehicles where the seats aren't that comfortable. So
But this is
pretty good.
If you didn't notice,
No.
that's a major test.
I think it's good.
Well, Andrea, thank you for your time. You're free to go now.
Thanks so much. I'm going to go for a walk in the beautiful sunshine. How about that?
Enjoy.
You get to work.
It's always good to get a woman's point of view. And after Andrea left to go for her walk, I walked down to my local Starbucks and did a takeaway order. And there was a guy there with a 2018 Chevy Bolt. I started talking to him. He runs a sort of an energy tea company, and he has a Chevy Bolt as his delivery vehicle. And this guy uses this to deliver cans of his energy drink all over the city of Vancouver. And he said, when I took a picture of it, it wasn't even that full. So that's a real test of a product like this. And I said, how is the car being? He says, I've got 40,000 kilometers on it. Doesn't have the same range as this one, but he drives about 150 kilometers a day. He said he's had 0 issues with it, and he's working it hard. So the nice thing is this car comes with these big screens, comes with alloy wheels. All those extras for $5,000 are kind of wants, they're not needs. So for me, this car with 417 kilometers of range, with a realistic price of around $45,000, does look like a strong contender for your money. Car Cost Canada provides the dealer's cost, a list of rebates, plus discounted interest rates. Use the promo code MOTORMOUTH to become an expert member and get access to exclusive and powerful savings. The link is in the description below.